My name is Ryan Havison, and I am an astrophotographer. I have had a lot of hobbies. I generally I get really enthusiastic about following my curiosity. I have never kind of intentionally, taken up a hobby. It's really been a little bit more of, of a compulsion. So I get curious about something, and it's actually for me kind of harder not to pursue a hobby than to actually pursue it. For a while, I was really into remote control helicopters, like large, kind of high-speed aerobatic remote control helicopters, and then electronics. So I've always just kind of like been involved and interested in a lot of different things. I was drawn to astrophotography because there are a lot of components to it. There's kind of an art component because you have to make the end result obviously, aesthetically pleasing, but there's also a lot of technical components to it. It's been really nice to have an astrophotography community to kind of talk to during the pandemic. In the mornings, often I'll read through the forums and, post results that I have. People share their images and people comment on them. And then the Discord channel a lot of times is where there's people that are actively setting up or actively imaging, and it's been nice to have some people just to kind of chat with about similar interests, just to have a little bit of a social aspect during the pandemic. Yeah, and I think that like now there couldn't be a better time to get involved in hobbies now than ever, just because of the access through YouTube and parts and things that you want. It's funny, like with the pandemic, there's been this explosion of people entering all kinds of hobbies, and in particular astrophotography, to the point where it's hard to get equipment anymore because there's been 5-10 times the demand for astrophotography equipment than there was a year or two ago. And so it's kind of interesting to see how trends like that also kind of play into that that need to have something on the side and a little bit of extra thing to look forward to. I think that the benefits are that it balances out different parts. So, for example, one of the hobbies that I got into was playing League of Legends, which of course is something I work on. And League involves a lot of like really complicated details where you have to learn 160 different champions and what they all do. And so through that, I learned how to memorize quite a lot of different things, which is not something I'm very good at. And so that was one of the things that I get from these hobbies, like, for example, the astrophotography. I get to work on kind of an aesthetic art view and changing around with colors, which is not something that I've kind of been very good at before. And so I think with each of the hobbies, I can kind of learn, and take away a skill that kind of, I can take to other things, to my work or, other parts of my life. I think it is pretty important to have interests outside of work and to have things that you enjoy doing because, at the end of the day, I mean, life is just kind of this gift, and enjoying it, I think, is pretty important, and I think hobbies are kind of a good way of expressing that. The passion blazing sky.